Hey there, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're probably into cryptids and monsters. Well, if you have a creative spark, you can always join us in our first ever Supernatural Selection zine project. For 2024, we are doing cryptid encounters, where you can draw or write a encounter with a cryptid of your choice, and we'll put it in the zine. The current submission window is from early January to late June. If you're interested in finding out more, you can always go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/zines. That is ZINES. Now back to the show.
Press. I'm recording.
As am I.
And in a twist, I'm recording as well.
What? Really?
No.
Oh.
Because there's no way I could get anything. Like, this is literally not connected to my computer at all.
Fuck. Okay. Good point. Yep.
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 I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by a cat now. The cat.
Yes, welcome to the distraction hole.
As soon as I go to start to say something, the cat decides, no, you pay attention to me. But anyway, you can cut that out if you like.
Nope.
It's staying in.
Well then, welcome to the see, I even messed that up. See, now you got to cut that out because I fucked up.
Nope.
Welcome to the distraction hole. I am Mike. We're here to talk about things. That's all I got. Good night. See you later. I'm done. Peace.
We got Fallout to play, motherfuckers.
No, so I am Mike.
Yes.
Somewhere over there we have Kevin.
Hello.
And in the other place, way across the room, we have David.
Yes, this is Supernatural Selections West.
It's a big room, Mike.
Well, you know, it's the country is a room. We're kind of in the middle of the room. David's over there by the window.
So when you say the room, can I say, oh, hi, Mark?
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau's on the eastern side of the room.
I did not.
So was that chaotic enough for you?
That was pretty fucking chaotic, yeah.
Yep.
I never intended to be. I just, I panic.
You're just a natural talent at it.
No, I'm natural at panicking under pressure.
Under pressure.
Not even under pressure, under like social pressure. Like you point a gun at me, I'd probably be okay. But you tell me to speak in public and things, and I just like stammer and look at my shoes. Put me in a job interview. Nah, that's life or death, baby.
So, Mike.
Yes.
Who would you like to go first?
Well, instead of having, one of us decide to talk about this, how about we just have a big blob at front that's nobody's real thing? We'll address the big apocalypse in the room.
David, that's what David wanted to talk about.
I mean, it's kind of all of our
it's cool.
things.
I think we're good. I think we'll just kind of freeform this shit.
Because I mean, something like this,
It is the reason we're recording a day late.
Yeah, it is everybody's thing. And I'm sure David has other things that happened in the last, 3 weeks since we last recorded? 2 weeks?
And the other thing is, like, we've wanted to, like, at least I've wanted to do, like, we all watch the same movie and have, like, a discussion on it. So that works.
So this is the Furiosa blob segment thing.
I don't like it being a blob. But okay.
Wasteland watching.
Yeah.
Yes. So over the weekend, Mad Max, what is it called? A Mad Max saga,
Furiosa,
a Mad Max saga. Mm-hmm. Just came out when we all saw it at different times. Well, Kevin and I just saw it today. David saw it. When did you see it?
I saw it Thursday night.
Okay, so yeah, we saw it. Today's Monday, and we just saw it today.
Witness me.
Yes.
Witness me.
So, who would like to say the most about this?
Well, can I just throw in right up front? I was a bit surprised to see oceans.
Yeah, so spoiler. This is going to be probably very heavily spoilery because we don't really know how to do it any other way. Okay, let's do the non-spoiler thing for people that don't want to be spoiled. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I fucking loved it. Like, I know the Red Letter Media guys were like, there's no way it can measure up to Fury Road. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also real fucking good.
Yeah, I would say if you call Fury Road, like, say a 9, this was like an 8, 8.5. It was still good. But yeah, it was not...
It reminds me more of like Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome.
So you can't hit that same level every time, so I can't fault that.
You can't do a 2-hour action scene.
Like number one, fantastic film. But yeah, like Fury Road is as close to a perfect film as I can think of.
Look, when
and like this movie doesn't come close to it, but that's more that like Fury Road is just so fucking good.
Like when a fan edit can make it black and white and take all the dialogue out, and it's still, a great movie. That says something.
Yep.
So spoilers now.
Well, I was just gonna say that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess that was it. I liked it. I really did.
Well, I do have a point of order because when we last talked. We had discussed Fury Road, obviously.
We had a discussion about a specific aspect of Fury Road.
Yes. So there was... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, though, I did remember what I was going to say. I was going to say I'd seen some complaints about pacing and, length. I thought it was fine. Like, I was never bored. Yes, it is a long movie, but I don't think there was anything that could really be cut, that needed to be cut. I mean, you could make cuts, obviously. But I don't think there was anything there was no dead weight to me. I think anything that was a little drawn out was kind of there for mood and, tension. But I don't think it had any fat, really.
Yeah, no, it's a very well-paced movie, I'll give it that.
Yeah.
So when we discussed Fury Road... we had that discussion about the ghost girl that Max keeps seeing, along with the flashbacks to other people.
We thought it was Furiosa.
Well, I mean, because it was like the Emote and Joe mobile was there and stuff.
So I looked into it because remember how fucking mind blown I was when you mentioned that, because I'm like, this changes everything. So it turns out it's as I thought. It wasn't Furiosa. Mm-hmm. That is a character who showed up in the Fury Road prequel comic. And in that comic, because it also kind of fits into plot points in Furiosa, because, we'll talk about that scene when it comes up, but the idea is that Max is in the area, and he goes to Gastown in the comic, because he's there to get an engine for his car.
Yeah.
While he's there, he fights in a Thunderdome, which, can't we get beyond Thunderdome here?
No.
So he ends up getting helped by a person. That person has him help her find her daughter. And then when he reunites the mother and the daughter, they end up getting killed by scavengers known as the Buzzards. So when the girl gets run over in the vision, that's the Buzzards killing her. And then the other flashbacks are just, the idea is that Max is haunted by people he can't save, and that's part of what motivates him finally to act in Fury Road. But what I like is that knowing this, it's neat, but you don't need to know it. If people want to read that as being the child form of Furiosa, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. But in the canon, that is a little girl that he saw die.
Well,
just before the movie.
So that, that was the interpretation before. Obviously after watching Furiosa, that's not true because of all her backstory and everything.
Yeah, we see.
There was no space in there for that to happen.
Yeah. But, it was just something I wanted to... Because, again, if that was Furiosa the whole time, that would have changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
based on how I interpreted the movie. But it kind of haunted me because I'm like, I've been obsessed with this movie for almost a decade. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that doesn't change the fact that I think Max is immortal, but anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't change that because, it's 20 years after, whatever calamity happened.
And well, I thought it was 60, but...
Or more than...
okay.
Well, Furiosa, like the movie Furiosa spans more than 15 years.
Yeah. Well, and I guess Miller had a really interesting... it was funny. I was on my way to watch Fury Road, and there was an interview with him on the radio. But in another interview, he talked about, like, Max's age, and he's like, don't think about it.
Yeah.
That's literally his answer, and I think that's the best way to approach it. Like, I understand, like, the need to kind of figure out the timeline.
Yeah.
Because also when you think about, like... should we just talk about the cameo?
Yeah, let's bring up that cameo. Here's the thing: there have been some folks online that are pissed about the cameo, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
it's just to say, hey, remember Max?
Hey, he's in the area at this time.
Yeah, and they've established that he's been because you see Gastown in that prequel comic.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, do you think he was the one who took Furiosa to the maggot lady?
That's something that the Film Gauge said, but I thought I saw someone running out to get her at that point.
Yeah, there were a couple of other, like, there was her, way off in the distance, and it looked like there were other, like, one or two other people. I thought they might have been, like, motorcycles that caught up to her until it cuts to, her with the maggot people.
I don't recall seeing the people pursuing her. I was too focused on Max, but
the thing is, like
canonically, I don't think Max would have gone out of his way to help her because he's
No.
always very reluctant to do it. Like the only reason he even helped in Fury Road was pragmatism.
He has to guilt himself into it.
And the fact that he would have to bring them to the base of the bring Furiosa to the base of the Citadel, which he would not go near a place like that, unprovoked or unneeded.
Because even going to Gastown in the comic, it was like a very tense sort of thing.
Yeah, no, he's not going to go to a big populated area.
Yeah, and the only reason he was even able to go to Gastown was they had kind of like an amnesty day for people to compete in that Thunderdome. So, like he's in hostile territory at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because again, like that one stuck with me, and I'm like, okay, I need to figure this thing out because it was driving me nuts. You ever get one of those things that just kind of like sticks in your head? So that being said, okay, yeah. So Furiosa, amazing.
Yes. Just
absolutely
friggin' great.
Mm-hmm.
So we gonna talk about Piss Boy?
Well, anyway, so we did cut you off about the water, the oceans.
Yes,
Kevin.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, they talked in Furiosa about salt flats and
or Fury Road.
Fury Road, sorry, about salt flats and driving for like
and
the amount of distance they mentioned would have been well into the oceans, like the Indian Ocean and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the beginning of Furiosa shows that Australia is still surrounded by oceans. So, but like,
Also, hey, look, he finally proved it's in Australia.
Yeah, well, I don't think there was any doubt there. But
well,
the amount of
there were
accents.
dumbasses online saying it couldn't be Australia. And I'm like, this. They didn't even have to do anything for it. This is just Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they did film in like Namibia and stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
but
I was gonna say, there are parts. I'm trying to remember what that was. Actually, no, I'm remembering the Mad Max video game where you there was a section of the area where you basically drove down what would have been the shore and into dried seabed.
I never played the game.
And I don't know how canonical that is. Although I did see an article that says Miller wants there to be another better Mad Max game.
Oof.
I mean,
Ow.
it wasn't a bad game. It was just it I don't know. It
Mediocre.
was a little mediocre.
Emotin Joe would want you to try again.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I'd like to talk about is the actors in the film.
Please, let's. First,
So, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just want to say, first off, Anya Taylor-Joy is a goddamn marvel.
I wasn't as impressed with her. Like, I think she did fine for what it was, but...
Thought she was great.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any problem at all with her.
No, I didn't have a problem. I just wasn't, like... I was whelmed. I was perfectly whelmed.
Here's the thing. I forgot that this wasn't Charlize Theron. This was just Furiosa. And that's everything I need to say about it.
Yeah, I can't agree with you on that one. Like, again, I'm not saying her performance was bad or anything. It's just, I also think that, like, going up against Hemsworth in this case...
Well, he was
I just don't see how she could have no good. But
his acting was from a completely different film.
Yeah, but perfect for the movie. Yeah, like the standout performance for me is Hemsworth as Dementus. Like, so fucking good. Like, that's the perfect kind of greasy raider villain.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see how her performance could have been any better.
Well, and I guess I'm having trouble like quantifying it. I don't know. She was fine.
Sounds like you need to see it again.
No, again, I'm not like complaining. I wasn't wowed.
Trying to make a joke.
No, I get you, but it's also like I'm trying to articulate what it was. Like, again, like I have no issue with her. I think she did fine. It's just I didn't see as much in her as I saw in Charlize Theron when she was playing Furiosa.
I don't know. I feel completely the opposite. I felt like she did a fantastic job here. I thought she came off very well as a damaged human being that had managed to become a badass because of the terrible things that had happened to her. I bought it.
I guess maybe the thing that threw me is I think that I was more interested in the stuff with the younger girl playing Furiosa. I thought that stuff was more compelling than when she's kind of with the war boys and everything like that.
Okay.
Her little journey with Sad Max, as fun as that is, Sad Max being the trucker guy.
Yeah.
But
the other Imperator was...
Yeah, but also I think...
Praetorian.
Yeah, Praetorian. But, yeah, I just call him Sad Max. But
no, it works.
Yeah, but no, I feel like the stuff with the younger child version was more... I felt like the stakes were higher. Which is weird because I know where Furiosa ends up. But just something about, like, the... And, kudos to casting that kid who looks almost exactly like Anya Taylor-Joy.
Here's the thing. I just found out what they did was as she got older, they digitally altered her to look more like Anya Taylor-Joy until the changeover happened.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, so...
That's cool.
Because, they did that so it wouldn't be so jarring. And you could be like, oh, well, this is the same character. And they also wanted to fool you and make you think, are they going to change over?
Yeah,
Did they just film her grow up?
No, that's really interesting usage of the technology.
Yeah.
So I can't really articulate, and maybe I do need to see the movie again because it's been a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was good though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was a bad performance. I just wasn't as thrilled with it as you seem to be. And I don't know. I mean that's fine. It's not like I'm saying that you're wrong or anything.
Okay. Well, just don't call me wrong.
No, well, you're not wrong.
Mike, you thought she did great, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think my opinion is somewhere between the two of you. I mean, she was.
So why are you giving me
fine.
shit, Kevin?
I just, I don't.
Because I don't agree with you.
I don't have any. I don't fault her any, or don't have.
Yeah,
any real,
yeah. It's not like I'm faulting her either.
Okay.
Then why'd you bring it up?
No, I just feel like
He brought it up because of what I said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. So, long story short, she's good. She's good in the role.
Some of us thought she was better than others. The end.
Yeah. That's basically it.
Now let's talk about Australian Goblin Chris Hemsworth for a minute.
The fucking art, the fucking nose, dude, perfect.
Yeah, that was a very Gandalf kind of thing. Which I don't really want to get into the fact that they gave all the wizards Jewish noses in that movie in Lord of the Rings, but no, the big nose, the crazy mustache and the beard, the fucking outfits.
Yeah, all the fucking raiders in his legion, like they reminded me of like the early Mad Max films.
It also reminded me a little bit of Six String Samurai.
Okay.
If you've ever seen that, it reminds me of Death from that movie.
Okay.
The Grim Reaper is going around killing people that are trying to take back Vegas, and it's just fucked up. You need to watch that movie too if you want to see like a real comedy version of, well, not comedy, but like a very non-serious version of a Mad Max film.
Oh man.
But anyway.
It was cool to see like Immortan Joe's to see more about like the power structure and everything like that, and you see why Mr. Nipple Play guy ends up running Gastown in Furiosa.
God, that guy was and always was gross. He reminds me of a former boss of mine.
Oh God!
When I worked in the computer department of Millsaps College, and when I first started, we didn't have a director of computer services, but we went about a year after I started. They brought us 3 candidates to, for the department as a whole to interview and talk to and see who we liked. We didn't like any of them because they were like either didn't seem to know anything about running an IT department, or were just so old that they were aged out. They didn't know anything about current technology. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hired the old white guy that didn't know anything about technology. And in meetings, he's sitting there in his, button-up shirt, and his hand would drift into the open, the buttons of the shirt, and he'd start rubbing his nipple.
Oh, God.
And, that reminds me of that so much.
The bad thing is, that's what I thought about when I saw the dude in this movie. I was like, oh God, just Mike's boss.
Except you just cut that shit away and just, have easy access to that nipple.
Oh, man. Yeah, like, I love, like, the Wastelander culture, and dude, just all the world building done in this movie.
I would have such a hard time in the apocalypse. Like, I realized that after watching this movie, that it wouldn't be the fight for survival or the, getting into fights or, maintaining a vehicle and all that. It would be, my biggest problem would be coming up with a flamboyant apocalypse wear. Like, I never would have thought of using a parachute as a cape.
And I was saying, when the apocalypse comes, I know food and, like, fighting and everything's going to be a big deal, but the first thing I'm going to have to do is kidnap a seamstress.
Yeah.
Just so I can have someone outfit my raider gang.
Well, you also got to think about your vehicle, because, some of them had mannequins at the end of the bikes, others had skulls.
Dude, the dude with the handlebar antler shoulder pads, I think that was Davidson, and the black veil, who eventually left
Yeah.
Dr. Demento?
Dr. Demento, yes.
Dr. Dementus. Because
Dr.
Demento
Dr.
is a
Dementus.
radio
I know.
personality.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
almost said Chris Hemsworth, but I was trying to think of the character's name. But
No, that was him. It's just Chris.
This was actually,
Hemsworth.
just Chris Hemsworth being Chris Hemsworth.
He just went home and they filmed his vacation.
That's what Australia's like, right?
Yep.
Australia.
Australia.
So, let's talk about the big stunt of the film, like the iconic stunt, which is the hang glider fan thing.
I was gonna say there was one. There was like 20 of them.
Well, there's certain stunts that are like. So in Fury Road, the most iconic thing is the guys on the sticks who are kind of weaving back and forth, like that. That's
and all that.
Yeah, that's the big trailer image, right?
Yeah.
In this one, it's the scene where they're on the Warboy rig and the Raiders are following them with like the hang gliders and everything like that.
What was the drill at the back called again? The what?
Oh gosh, the bomber slinger or something like
I
that.
don't remember the. Fuck.
It was something very orky like that.
Yeah, which it wasn't that great of a tool.
Well, I mean,
It is if you're pulling a dude down with a fan copter.
Yeah, I mean, but how often are you getting like those fan guys? You know,
I don't know.
what I mean?
That's pretty decent, I guess.
Like if they're behind you on the road, but as we've seen in like the series, the attacks usually come from the side.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they kept like saying, don't use it yet, like it was some like Deus Ex Machina, like it was like the best weapon ever, and then they turn it on, it's just spinning flails on the back.
It was sick as shit. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, man.
But I'm like, it's a little bit too situational.
And the Wee War boy didn't even turn it on. He just got scared and hid and died.
That poor kid.
Wee man boy. Wee War boy.
Wee boy.
But like that hang glider sequence that was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
No, that whole sequence was great.
Even before that, the motorcycle guys that just did the paragliding while being pulled by the motorcycles and then chucking the
when those dudes jumped off and had those skis basically on
like
their
going,
feet.
okay, what are they doing here? This is kind of weird. This doesn't make sense. And then they deploy the parachute. A drow chute comes out. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of see that. And then a full parachute comes out. They start flying. I was like, oh, fuck, dog.
Yeah. It's like, this
That's
is the
a
best
perfect
thing.
reaction to it. Oh, fuck, dog.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Get that altitude.
And that whole sequence was just, oh, fuck, dog after oh, fuck, dog.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mad Max's big thing is finding innovative ways to use pleasure craft and pleasure hobbies as war.
Shit you would find after the apocalypse
In
while
war.
raiding a rich person's house with bolt cutters.
Come on, like there's even in the original ones they had that little airplane that dude had.
Little gyrocopter thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a little. I think it was an agricultural airplane.
Well, yeah,
but
still, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and
it's very similar to the thing James Bond had in one of the first James Bond movies.
Too bad we can't give Miller the Water World series too, and then he could find interesting ways to use those like water jet boots you see guys flying around on.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just I'm glad this one wasn't just balls to the wall action for the whole thing. I'm glad this one was slower. I'm glad it had so much character stuff. It was also, the whole time I'm going, this is a 1980s director given enough money to keep doing what he's doing, and I'm in love with it. Like, when they're dragging Sad Max, did Dementus pop mushrooms, or are me and Mike mistaken?
That was a joke I said. I'm pretty sure he just had like a what's it called?
Fugue state?
Yeah, just something like that. He just disconnected from reality.
Sure, but I like to think he popped mushrooms.
I mean, if you think about it in the terms of like the plot, like he had basically lost everything at that point. Like everything had gone to shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I love that he's such a spectacular failure as a villain, but I'm still like really enjoying him.
Hemsworth was great. They let him off the off the hook and just let him do his thing. And yeah, okay, it had some of the funny Thor to it, but like he was evil, and I bought.
Oh yeah. Especially when he meets with Immortan Joe, and he's like, "My daughter."
And I don't.
He's
That
bullshitting
was
his way through that.
Hulk,
And I don't think
Thor thing.
And I don't know. He was way less like himbo than Thor, though. He was smart. He may have been ineffectual.
He was smart, but not intelligent.
Yeah. He was charismatic. That's the thing. He was good at like socially engineering people, unless they could see through his bullshit.
Which Immortan Joe saw through his bullshit.
Yeah, Immortan Joe totally.
He had some good plans there. They just, Immortan Joe eventually saw through his ruse.
By the way, Immortan Joe is a great character. Like, with both of these movies, I'm like, this is a fascinating character I'd want to see a movie about.
I'd like to know his origin, but also, we need to address that this is a different actor.
I was going to say
the guy that played him
in
the first one passed away.
Because that was a toe cutter from the first Mad Max.
Mm-hmm. And then the guy who played Immortan Joe in this one is the one who played, I think it was Davidson
in Fury Road.
In Furiosa, the right hand man who got killed by the Raiders at the end on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also played Immortan Joe.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so it's the same actor.
Dual role.
Yeah, so he did that. Well, because I mean, with Immortan Joe, you've got that mask and stuff.
Oh, true.
So.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, if you got an actor who can do both, why not? You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, also, just, kudos for giving the guy 2 paychecks.
So I do want to say, like, when Dementor zoned out.
Mm-hmm.
Dementus.
Yeah. The Dementor zoned out. That wasn't at the point he had lost everything, though. I mean,
he lost Bullet Town.
Yeah, they had lost Bullet Town, but
Bullet Town and Gas Town at that point.
I don't know if he lost Gas Town.
No, Gas Town would have been like the whole thing required him to have Immortan Joe come out of the Citadel.
Well, see, that's the thing.
He had spread his forces too thin.
Well, no, that the fugue state thing that happened right after the Bullet Town thing, but before Furiosa made it back to the Citadel.
You could always go lower. You know what I mean?
I know, but he still had his forces, and he still did that ploy along the ditch there. This was before he lost everything.
Which Mike leaned over and explained they were wetting the sand to keep the smoke trail, the dust trail down. I was like, that's actually really fucking smart of him. Mm-hmm. Another example of, hey, he's got some talent.
So when he lost everything, that's when it was just him and those 5 other guys running away from the Citadel.
Well, when I say lost everything, I don't mean like him at his abs, but his big scheme had failed spectacularly.
I think this was still a hiccup, because you saw he still tried to lure Immortan Joe out.
Well, no, because the part I'm thinking about is when they have the Imperator and they have Furiosa, and they're in the desert after catching
they're circling the motorcycles and dragging them. Yeah, because
at that point the plan had failed with Bullet Farm.
Yeah, really the only plan there was to capture the truck and everything. But they lost like the some of the foundries and stuff.
Well, they had also lost a lot of people because Furiosa and the Imperator had taken out a lot of people too.
He lost a dozen or two dozen people out of his hundreds.
The folks that worked at Gastown were like on the verge of revolution. So that's another thing he had to keep in mind. So.
Yeah, his whole power base at that point had basically just kind of fallen apart aside from his close raiders.
I think the truck showing up there was just an accident. He just wanted to keep them from getting back and reporting that they had taken Bullet Town.
That does make sense.
And he was going to do that raid on the Citadel anyway. He was just counting on it to be a surprise.
Right.
And when it turned out it wasn't a surprise, he decided to go for the sneak attack route.
Yeah, I kind of understood it differently.
The luring them out by pretending to burn Gastown.
Well, yeah, because at that point he was over at Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Like, well, I mean, that's kind of what's fun about this is there's all sorts of interpretations you can make on this stuff. Kind of like the thing going back with like the ghost kid that Max was seeing in Fury Road and everything like that.
I mean, I just never read the comic, so if I had known that there even was a comic, that would have made more sense. But that was just a guess based on limited information.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Which was
no worries there.
There's a girl, and it's a flashback, and it has the Emote and Joe's battle rig and stuff there. So put 2 and 2 together. But now what? Anybody else got anything on this?
I like movie
So
much.
It ended pretty much where Fury Road picks up.
Yeah.
Like it connected to it, and then even in the closing sequences, they showed a montage of Furiosa segments of Fury Road segments that contain Furiosa.
Now, do you think that Furiosa elevates Fury Road for you?
I'd have to see it again. Like I have to go back and watch Fury Road.
I would like to watch them back to back, actually,
or just
with
now
Furiosa and then
rewatch. In fact, I wanted to watch Fury Road before going to see Furiosa. Just never.
That's what I did. I watched Fury Road, and then that afternoon I went to go see.
Kevin, that's what we
Furiosa.
should do sometime this week. Is just now that we've seen Furiosa, watch Fury Road and see.
Like, oh,
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
It rhymes. He's a sad little boy. Sorry, George Lucas.
They're friends.
Wrong, George.
So here's my question. Do we think we're going to get another George Miller Wasteland film?
Nope. I think this is the last one, but I'd love for there to be one more.
I don't think he's done with it. I think as long as they'll, like, the production company will give him money, he'll do it.
The problem. I hope they give him money. I don't know that they're going to give him money.
Well, here's the other thing. Can we wait another 9 years for him? Because he's going to be, what, 89?
Well,
he'll be 95 and working in the Wasteland.
Here's the thing, is that he also has said he has no interest in doing movies other than Mad Max. Or,
which,
that universe
bless him
movies.
for that. Bless him for that.
So, I read once that they did swing offers his way to do other movies, and he's like, nah, I don't want to do those.
Well, it's wild to think that he's the guy who did Babe and Happy Feet.
Yeah, I was just looking up his other films. I was like, Happy Feet? Really?
yeah. That's how he was able to make Fury Road.
Lorenzo's Oil. Did Lorenzo's Oil.
I mean, I hope he does one more Mad Max. I'm sure he's only got one more probably in him.
How do you feel about him, like, passing the reins on to someone else to do a Wasteland film?
I don't know how I feel. If he picks them,
if it's someone he trusts to do it, then I'd give it a chance.
Yeah, I sincerely hope he gets to do as many Wasteland projects as he wants. I'm not holding my breath, though, based on the current track record of release dates and then also the devastating box office results this weekend.
I don't think that's a statement on the film necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not, but here's the thing, like, the executives are going to read it as a statement on the film. Because that's inevitably what they end up doing. If a Mad Max movie underperforms, well, it's, because at least Fury Road made back its budget, I would say pretty handily. But, like, this is not tracking well. Furiosa is not tracking well, which it's disappointing that that's the case. And it makes the latest Planet of the Apes a real fluke, all things considered.
I think the problem is that, I think it's every movie this weekend. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to look at, if anyone would objectively look at the numbers, they'll probably see that it did fine for, like, as a percentage of box office turnout, as opposed to, like, raw numbers, because I just saw an article earlier today that said that more things than ever have been open this Memorial Day, so there's been alternatives to go in to see the movies, because I remember just, as a kid and stuff.
Like Christmas.
It was like not a lot to do on Memorial Day. Like almost everything was closed. So movies were one of the few things that were open, and that's why historically I think it was a big box office weekend. Yeah. Also, it's a 3-day weekend, so that helps as well.
And the other thing is, we also need to kind of look at like the diminishing returns on box office over the past year or so. That's another thing to think about. Like, I am surprised at how well Godzilla and Kong did, and how well Planet of the Apes did. And I think the secret of success here is to throw a monkey in your movie.
I don't know about a monkey. I don't know. Here's the thing. Only if it's one of Emotin Joe's irradiated spawn.
God, dude, they need to throw a chimp in the next Mad Max movie.
I kind of want to hit you real hard for that.
No, think about it. A Wasteland chimp with a gun.
Okay, now we're getting into like what?
There's a scene where the chimp is hanging on the back of a vehicle shooting an AK.
I understand. First off, I need to explain the series of thoughts that just went through my head so quickly I couldn't speak. First, you're going Hellboy on us, or Amazing Screw-On Head, whichever. Mike Mignola. And I was like, Mike Mignola, Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro. What if Guillermo del Toro made one of these?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yep, that's the series of thoughts that just went through my head. I was like, I would watch the first one at any rate.
You know who I think would actually be a decent like Wasteland movie director?
Who's that?
Justin Lin. From Fast and the Furious. Like he.
Well, okay,
but he also did Aquaman, but like the Fast and the Furious, I think 4, the one with the safe, when they're dragging that safe through, I think it's Rio de Janeiro.
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, so. Okay, I have all of them. They're fantastic movies. They're not great movies, but they're fantastic because they're so fun. But like the way that they shoot the car stuff in those films. Like, start throwing together, like, scrap wagons in the Wasteland, and I think it would work out pretty well.
I could see that. I don't know. I think you'd have to also balance that with a little more of the, artistic side, which is what Miller does. But I was just thinking, there is one thing that could save a potential another Mad Max movie in the eyes of executives.
What's that?
How it does at the Oscars. Because Mad Max did well for the kind of genre movie it is.
Yeah.
So if Furiosa does well, and I think it could, like you said, it doesn't reach the highs of Fury Road, but it's just barely. It's like,
it's also more character driven.
It's a very close silver medal to Fury Road's gold.
Well, but there's also more of a story to chew on, more of a character driven, a lot more. Yeah, like it's a character study.
Dude, if this doesn't at least get Hemsworth like a nomination, because his acting was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Hemsworth, he's one of those actors that up until this point I've watched him gone. He's just basically the same guy.
Pony.
Well, I don't know, except for Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was just him being a himbo.
He was actually really good in his one set of scenes in 09 Star Trek. Where he played Kirk's dad.
Did you guys ever see Cabin in the Woods?
No.
I didn't.
So he was in that, and he was really good in that too. That's where I first saw him. Before I knew he was Thor, I'd seen him in Cabin in the Woods, where he plays this really smart guy who, through the process of the experiment of the movie, gets drugged to become the dumb jock character. And he tries to leap his motorcycle over a canyon and hits a force field and dies. It's fantastic.
Damn.
But he, it was great because he started off as a very smart, level-headed guy, and because they're playing with horror movie tropes, he gets dumber and more jockish. But he did a great job of kind of selling that range. So
right.
he's a good actor. And even as Thor, he's fantastic as Thor.
I mean, in several of his movies, it's like he's serviceable. I never had a problem with him, but he
Yeah.
never really had a standout role where he's like, goes above. It's like Ben Affleck before. I'm trying to think before Argo. Like Ben Affleck before Argo. It's like he's just Ben Affleck. He's playing a version of Ben Affleck.
Affleck?
Yeah,
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
And then in Argo, you're going, wow, this motherfucker can actually act.
Yeah. Now, was that pre or post back tattoo? Because he has that really obnoxious back tattoo.
Oh,
I don't know.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a phoenix or something?
Something like that, yeah. Just wild shit, man.
It's like I knew Hemsworth had been in some like generic action movie called Extraction, and there's Extraction 2, and it's like, yeah, he was just there. He was just,
Like, it was good that they gave him something to cut his teeth on, and like I think he really I think he's the highlight of the movie.
Yep. No, I do completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Which is fun to think about because like everybody in that movie is kind of a highlight in their own way.
Yeah. Everybody had a moment, I think.
Even Piss Boy.
Even Piss Boy.
Piss boy. Drink this piss.
And then he grabbed that dynamite. Son of a bitch. Yep. Oh, wow. I did not realize that Miller did Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a hell of a career, man.
Yeah. Oh God, he directed the remake of the Shatner Twilight Zone segment in the Twilight Zone movie. The one with what's his name from Third Rock?
Lithgow?
John Lithgow. He directed that.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, just really, really like interesting director. Like, cause I wanted to see 3,000 Years of Longing, but I never got a chance to.
Did he do that one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I need to see that. It's not his list.
Yeah, no, I have it. I'm looking on his list on Google.
Huh. I'm looking on IMDb.
Yeah, directed by George Miller with Idris Elba. Yeah, because it came out in 2022, and I never had a chance to see it, and it's unfortunate. But I do want to see it because again it's like George Miller getting to do the shit he wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yep. So, as everything does, this is going to lead me back to Fallout for a second. Because we have, in fact, become a Fallout podcast. And this is something I wanted to bring up to Mike. There's something that's been nagging me about New Vegas and that's by Obsidian, which is made up of former folks from Black Isle, which is the creators of Fallout. And one of the things that is nowhere in the Bethesda games are the tribes. Like the whole idea of the tribes. Like in Fallout 1 and 2, the original vaults that opened and let people out ended up becoming the tribes, like the Great Khans and what have you. And, that's still a going concern out there. All the tribes. And like Caesar's Legion was made up of 86 tribes that he conquered. And then you get to the East Coast, and it's just settlements. And I'm like, what? I mean, other than the fact that it's a completely different game studio making it, what is the logic there? It's just a thing that popped into my head while I was watching Fury Road. And, Furiosa, sorry. It's the similarity in title that Anyway, point is, just something that popped up. Also, Mike has 3D printed part of a Pip-Boy for me, and we're working on
That's all he's getting, just those parts. Nope, nothing more.
It's going to be the jankiest Pip-Boy ever.
You got to scavenge the rest of it like a true Wastelander.
Yes.
God damn it.
No, I mean...
You better crawl out through the Fallout.
Just directorial choices. They just chose not to call them tribes.
Yeah, and it's,
They're just raiders now.
Well, it's also like the differences in the super mutants between the first two games and then the later super mutants. When Bethesda took over, they align the canon more towards their vision, which,
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the super mutants, it kind of makes sense because, the FEV virus that hit the East Coast made the super mutants over there. The ones on the West Coast, the West Coast were made by the FEV virus over there. And then they came from a specific vault in the capital Wasteland. And then in, 4, it's the Institute was experimenting with it, so there's going to be some differences.
Yeah.
But
all this is telling me is that, Bethesda should probably make the Mad Max game.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah, we were talking about they really need drivable vehicles.
They can hint that the Wasteland of the Mad Max universe is set in the Fallout universe. They can just hint at it, but never quite.
This is what is going on in Australia right now.
Yeah, well, fucking chaos.
Yep.
I was thinking, well, what could they do with Fallout 5? And it's well, they did introduce vehicles in Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
And, modifying vehicles and stuff, so they could just do Mad Fallout Max.
No, I'm down for it. The whole time I'm watching Furiosa, I'm just you know what? I want to play Fallout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I was thinking the whole time, man, can't wait to get home and play Fallout. So we're terrible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I have a request.
Yes, what's your request?
Before we go to me and David's stuff, can we take a break?
Nope, no breaks for you.
Ooh.
Just pee yourself.
Damn it.
Isn't that the affirmation? Just pee yourself.
And then you can use that to cool down the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like in
drink,
Furiosa.
drink my piss.
Drink my piss.
God damn it.
I had something, but I keep forgetting it. Maybe I'll remember after the break. Because we're taking a break. So, Kevin, don't piss yourself. Stop it.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Supernatural Selection. Are you an independent creator? Do you have a webcomic or an Etsy store? Do you 3D print things? Or are you just looking to get some word out for your Discordian cabal with social terrorism? Well, we'd love to help. And David, I believe you've got some details about how we can help.
Why, certainly. If you go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, that is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, you can learn how to advertise with us.
That's right. I believe the rate is $2 per episode. You can't beat that with a stick.
I mean, trust me, we've tried.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's literally cheaper than dirt.
Mm-hmm. And best of all, if you're not sure how to write an ad, we'll do it for you. We'll even record it.
Absolutely. Just let us know what you need in the ad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
And again, that URL is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact.
And now, back to the show.
You have one job, Mike. One job.
And we're back. And for the record, I have many jobs. I wear many hats, David. And they're all going through my head all the time. So that's why I fuck up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was a fun discussion we had about the Mad Maxiverse.
Yes, the multiverse of Mad Max.
Yes.
All right, Kevin, I think you said you had some things you wanted to discuss.
Okay. So, about 20 years ago, which that makes me wither to dust to say it, I was gifted a very small shortwave radio by a gentleman that I worked with at Rose's named William. And William was like 7 3/4 feet tall.
So tall.
And the deepest voice I've ever heard from a man.
So you were given a radio by a giant. Okay.
Yes. If you read The Wheel of Time, he was an ogre. He was a very well-read man that was into old archaic forms of entertainment. And he brought me a little a shortwave radio and a spool wire antenna for it, and I got into shortwave. And then it burned out, and I got a new one, and that one burned out too, and I didn't get into shortwave for a while. But I love it because it's a lot of fun. I would pick up like Radio Cuba and like Radio Moscow and the Voice of America and stuff. And I was thinking, man, I would really like to get back into shortwave. But the entry cost is so damn high for a radio. So, Amazon, I find this radio that is literally the exact same size as the one William got me. And it was $10.
Oh.
And the coil antenna was $12. The antenna was more than the radio. So, anyway, I get this thing, I'm all excited, I start trying to find stuff, and I'm finding a lack of some things to listen to in across the wave bands, or across the bands. And it turns out with the real entrenchment of the internet, most of those old propaganda stations have shut down.
Yeah.
All my favorites.
Because they're all on Twitter.
Yeah, well, Radio Cuba has actually come back, but they're FM, so you can't pick them up here. Which has me upset a bit. But I do get to listen to Fire and Brimstone Preachers at 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Out of like the Ozarks.
Oh,
and
boy.
Appalachia. And screaming about how everyone but their 9-person congregation is going to hell because we don't eat the right possums.
You also hear a bunch of snakes, and a guy go, ow.
Ow. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. But no, it's interesting to just pick up things from other countries. It's like, yeah, I don't know what they're saying, but this is obviously a Mexican talk show. So that's kind of fun. And you can still pick up, if you're lucky and you have your antenna set up, you can pick up NHK from Japan.
Oh, interesting.
Which is their Mike, you know NHK.
Yeah.
It's their broadcast thing. They do television and radio, kind of like the BBC. And if you're lucky and the atmospheric conditions are right one night, you can pick up NHK. So that's kind of neat. I've gotten back into shortwave, and also the sound quality on this, it's by XH Data is the name of the brand. And like I said, it's $10, and it's a one-speaker little transistor radio-looking thing, and it's got really good sound for what it is. And I listened to Coast AM Friday night, the way it was meant to be listened to, on a tiny-ass radio with one speaker.
That's cool.
Yes. I listened to George Norrie talk to a woman that was, well, she was a psychic, and it was as funny as you would expect it to be. Because she didn't see any of the questions coming.
Which we do need to cover Coast to Coast as just like a thing. It's just like, here's a history of Coast to Coast.
Yeah, and we'll get into we could get into the controversies with Art Bell and everything. But, that's one thing I've been distracting myself with. But I do want to ask you, David, have you been watching Doctor Who?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You're current?
Yes.
All right. Mike, you may want to relax.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I thought it was funny that, the show starts back up, and I'm like, this is goofy as fuck. Yeah, okay. Maestro was kind of spooky and scary and everything, but, it was an episode where the Beatles saved the world. And then,
and that was following Space Babies.
And that's after Space Babies and a farting spaceship. I was like, well, this is Doctor Who now. Not that I hate it. I'm going to watch it. But, this is Doctor Who now. And then Stephen Moffat came back. And I was like, wow, this is really not a comedy and tense, because, Mike, the entire plot involved the Doctor stepped on a landmine and dealing with, if I move my foot, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And every goddamn thing in the plot trying to fucking kill him, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the beauty of Doctor Who, is that, like, even, like, in the revival series, you would have, like, your very serious episode, like, everything with, like, the Weeping Angels, but you'd still have your goofy shit, like the Adipose.
Or the aliens of... What's it? Aliens
The
of
Slovene.
London,
The Slovene?
The Slovene, yeah.
Yeah.
And, again, farting. I don't know what it is about Russell T and farting.
Well, and here's the thing. Looking at these, what is it? These, I guess it's 5 episodes, because you have to count the church on Ruby Road.
Yeah.
Like, looking at these 5 episodes, it's been a perfect encapsulation so far of, like, what I would want out of a Doctor Who season.
And the latest episode, 73
yards?
73 yards. It was real fucking good.
Yeah.
It's a doctorless episode, and it was really good. Like, this is the first episode where Ruby really sort of stepped out as a character finally.
Well, and the other thing was, the thing that I love about 73 Yards, real folk horror vibe, because it's set in Wales. You've got, like, the rural community and everything like that. It totally gave me, like, Wicker Man energy for that first 20 minutes.
I love how shitty the Welsh were to her.
The $5 for a glass of Coke, or I'm sorry, £5 for a glass of Coke.
Yeah, £5 for a glass of Coke, and then she's like, I don't have any money. Can I pay with my phone? And
What's a phone?
Like, with your what? It's got to, like, because she doesn't. She's a time traveler. She has no idea when she is right now.
Never mind the kid in the guy liner, to tell you what time this is.
Yeah, and they're acting like they have no idea what paying with your phone is. And they're like, of course we know how you do that. What are you, stupid? And it's like the whole fucking time, they're just, oh my God, they keep telling her spooky stories and then telling her, you idiot.
Jeez, what
dicks. No, it's very Welsh.
It's a very good episode that I would put on like Halloween, because like the horror vibes are immaculate in that episode.
And then using the Phantom haunting you as a weapon.
Well, and the other thing is, like, the way that they do the horror, it's literally the simplest thing. It's a person who's just far enough away where you can't make them out, and they keep following you. Like, that's all it is, and they do it so well.
And it's for your... And the whole episode, Mike, takes place over 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is real good. Like,
and then we got to talk about Kate showing up. Kate Stewart.
I felt so bad when that happened with the whole thing where they left her.
It's fucking devastating. That whole episode is just so devastating for Ruby.
Kevin has died.
Excuse me, water went down the wrong pipe. Thought I could sneak some water.
No worries.
David, talk for a second.
No, but like one of the things that I appreciate about it is that there's this kind of like, because people were wondering like, well, what exactly is this person saying to the people to make them run away? And it's like, you don't need to know, because the entire episode is a metaphor for abandonment issues, and what
you never
she's
find
saying.
Out what she says.
Yeah, and what she's saying is whatever Ruby, who has the abandonment issues, would imagine someone would say to make someone reject her completely.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point of it. And I feel like some people want stuff explained to them in a way.
It's your inner voice given a body.
Yeah, exactly. It beautifully handled. Like, the metaphor of that episode's great. I know we started talking about, Boom, which, again, amazing episode.
And also, it was just the most Stephen Moffat episode because it brought back the Anglican Marines.
Yes.
The priest army, Mike.
Yeah.
It also introduced the next companion, or a future companion, who's supposed to be showing up at some point.
Yes. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's kind of the same thing they did with Donna, though, too. because she showed up and then
with
she
the
was
bride.
not around. Yeah, and then she wasn't
Yeah.
around for a while, and then she came back as a full-on companion. So, like, there's a lot of like echoes to some of the early Tennant stuff.
A bit, yes.
Yeah, like at least tonally with like the episode selection so far and everything like that.
And
But
also,
I'm confident in saying that these last two episodes are among the best of Doctor Who of the modern era.
yeah, especially 73 Yards. I thought that may be the best episode they've done in a very long time. Also, I'm just happy that we're in a situation where the Doctor can be fucking terrified.
Oh yeah, like I think that's my favorite thing is 'cause we're so used to the Doctor kind of being a kind of like a whimsical smartass about everything.
You think of the Matt Smith version of the Doctor, where he's like a smartass, and look at me, I'm the smartest man in the room. Fuck you.
Or even like the David Tennant kind of like impish personality.
Right up until he turns into Darth Vader. Yes.
Yeah, but like with Ncudi's Doctor, I love that there's this vulnerability to him.
Right. Like, here's the thing. David Tennant, his Doctor standing on a landmine would be interesting, but he would be in charge of the situation.
Yeah.
This Doctor was terrified because he was standing on a fucking landmine.
Well, as one would be.
Which, they wouldn't have done that before. The Doctor would have been... There would have been something else going on.
Oh, can we talk
Or he
about the
would've-
tube of remains?
Oh my god. Yeah.
And then he
David,
kisses
explain
it.
the tube to Mike.
Oh, okay, so
Isn't that
when
what they
people
call the
on the
subway?
in this setting, like basically it's like a cost analysis of like whether or not to save somebody that the automated like nurse robots do.
Triage.
So if it's determined it's not worth saving you, they'll just kind of like kill you, but they put you into these vacuum form tubes. So you literally get this like tube of meat of garbled human substance with like an eye or a nose pressed up against this like
Yeah, there's an
plastic shrink
eyeball
wrap.
in it.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
fucking
great.
gross.
Yeah.
it's pretty great. Like it was like a very nice like gross detail.
Like how Kevin says it's gross, David says it's great.
Well, it's gross, but it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing concept and terrible.
Like the horror shit that I'm into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
you're
that
fucked in the
that's
head.
right in my wheelhouse. Like a human tube,
Yeah, the human tube.
vacuum packed human.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to remember there was something else in particular about that episode. That was the stupidest child I've ever seen. Like, that was a 10-year-old acting like a 4-year-old.
Yeah, there was something like
That
that's
was
probably the thing that dragged the episode down for me. Like overall great episode, but yeah, that kid like
that
it didn't
kid was
work.
stupid as hell.
Yeah, like especially when they start doing the pictures, and she just kind of like stands there, like staring at the pictures projected by her AI dad.
Well, what else got me about that was the hologram pops up. She's like, "Daddy," and runs to get a hug. I'm like, "You're like,
Child,
way
you've been
too
raised
old
in a
for
war
this."
zone.
Yeah, unless you took a bullet to the brain and have had your head sealed back up and left it in there, you should know better.
But
you live
know,
in the goddamn 51st century.
But like, what does that say about the episode? That even though we're kind of like dunking on this weird bit of it, like the episode itself is just so good.
Oh yeah, I was pleasantly surprised they mentioned the fish fingers and custard.
Yeah, there's all these little bits referencing the old Doctors. You know, I kind of want the sonic sunglasses to come back from. I liked them. I liked them. I think like bring them back for an episode.
Wait, you don't like the remote from Click?
I'm having a hard time with this sonic screwdriver.
Also, I think it's funny he didn't even think about using the sonic screwdriver.
Well, we remember that there was the
landmine.
whole thing is like even a subtle shift in his weight.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, because he was like, yeah, that's why he had to have Ruby find something to offset the weight so he could put his other foot down. Because how long was he standing on that one foot?
Too long.
Yeah. So, like, there's... I just gotta say, like, I'm really enjoying this, I'm really enjoying this season. I'm eager to see... I'm also eager kind of to get some answers, because, again, we keep seeing the same people.
Yeah, it
show
turns
up.
out the actress's name is Susan Twist. That is not the character's name. There's this woman that keeps showing up everywhere they go as a different character every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she showed up as the nurse robot in Boom.
She
in
was
73.
a hiker in 73, or a bicyclist in 73 yards.
Well, she was the hiker, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then she also showed up in the neighborhood when Ruby's adopted mom was trying to get, where they were discussing, the mom being like, okay, well, I'm going to have my phone and I'm going to go talk to her.
That's a different actress, actually.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Mrs. Flood, the one that was in the very first, in a church on Ruby Road that said, well, she'd never seen a TARDIS before. Different actress. I almost made the same mistake.
Which is also like a whole other mystery here.
Yeah,
like,
how the fuck does she know
what's
what a
with all
TARDIS
the
is?
old ladies?
And why can she see us?
Yeah, because then that leads into that whole, there's always a twist at the end in the Beatles episode, the Music Meister episode.
And the actress's name is Susan Twist, so...
What the fuck, man? This is like some of the most compelling Who that I've had for quite a while, so...
Yeah. But one of the things that really gets me about the whole... she also was Isaac Newton's maid. Mm-hmm. That's the first time No, that wasn't the first time. Yes, it was. That was the first time we saw her, and then she turned up as a hippie at Ruby's band's show. Mm-hmm. And she was like a crew member in Space Babies. Mm-hmm. And, God, who was she in? Oh, she was a tea lady in the Beatles episode.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck is going on?
Shit's about to go down when the doctor, like, have I met you before? Like, we're going to get some sort of scene like that, where the doctor's going to start realizing something, and that's when shit's going to go down.
Also, Ruby recognized her.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Ruby was like, don't I know? No, wait, that was someone else. Like, she's seen her twice before this now, and was like, oh, no, that's somebody else.
I think this is all going to come back to Susan somehow.
I agree.
The doctor's granddaughter.
That's my theory. I think they're going to bring Susan back, and I don't know what they're doing, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride at this point.
Yep, I'm there. Anyway, that's our prerequisite Doctor Who discussion for the time being until we figure out what the fuck's going on. How about you, Mike? What have you got besides Furiosa?
What, you're calling the shots now?
No, I'm just asking.
Territorial much?
No, he just smoothly transitioned into that, like,
Sorry,
What if I wanted David to go next?
I thought David did Furiosa.
I mean, he has other things, I'm sure.
We had, like, a group discussion on Furiosa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, look, I was just trying to, like, get Mike back involved with the discussion.
You said you were done, and I was
sorry.
I registered that.
I'm sorry.
You don't trust me to do the job.
I like how Mike doesn't really plan this thing, but he always ends up being the most indignant.
Well, yeah. So, David, because I usually like to go last when I'm hosting, because I'm a generous lover. Oh, what do you have for us other than Mad Max?
Well, I'm caught up at this point with Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, I have not gotten into the last season.
Like, I'm enjoying it. Like, it was clear that this was not supposed to be their final season.
Okay.
Like, that's the big impression I get. Like, I'm enjoying the ride, though. Like, Discovery has always been kind of like the weaker of the modern series to me, but I still enjoy it. The thing is, the whole time I'm watching it, the thing I'm thinking about is Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about Discovery just gives me Mass Effect vibes, and it just makes me wish they would do a Mass Effect TV show.
Okay.
And I think they can do that at this point. Like, I think the technology is there to do a Mass Effect TV show. So why the fuck don't we have that?
Because people hate money? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's
because it would have to be a porn show because there'd just be so much boning.
Yeah, just all the Asari everywhere. So, you guys haven't watched any of this final season of Discovery, have you?
I have not. Kevin's not seen any of it.
I didn't like the first season and haven't been able to.
The show gets better after the first season. Like, even then, I didn't really hate the first season, but like, it when they, you know what happens in the show, right? Even though you've not watched it, you know the big gimmick around season.
Yeah, the future thing.
Yeah,
Where
yeah. Like,
in
I think the show
they
gets
go to the future.
Yeah, I think the show gets a lot more interesting once they're in the future because it's an entirely new era of Trek we've never seen before, and there's some interesting
I'm more
galactic political stuff
in that idea because, hey, let's not try to shoehorn this into canon that already exists.
Well, I mean, they're doing that. That's the kind of the same thing they're doing with Strange New Worlds, though.
Yeah, but
so what's the difference?
Better because I like it more.
Yeah. Okay.
It didn't involve Brian Fuller,
and I think Strange New Worlds has more respect for the existing canon than Discovery did when it was in that era.
It feels more Star Trek to me.
Because they were taking Spock and taking him in weird directions, like especially giving him like a pseudo sister. And Strange New Worlds is like, nah, calm your tits. We're just gonna like tell the untold stories of.
Well, I like Michael as Spock's sister. It's an interesting angle.
But I'm just saying it was something that was never there. It was made whole cloth.
Yeah.
Whereas Strange New Worlds is more homage.
Well, and the other thing is, of course, like, because of the continuity, they can't really acknowledge it. So, like, Spock can never really talk about... Like, Spock has made reference to Michael before. I think in Strange New Worlds, like,
I think once or twice, But, like... But then again, that's also such a Sarek thing to do, to adopt a human child. Like, that totally is something that Sarek would do. Yeah. So, like, everything about Michael worked for me, aside from the way that they kind of wrote the character at times. But, like, the way that, like, the character fits into things is okay with me. I mean, it's just, like I said, they're, like, going buck wild. And also the whole Klingon thing, like, from the first season was weird. And
then they kind of, like, cleaned up the Klingons for, by the time we get to Strange New Worlds, they're kind of a little bit more closer to the original.
I think, like I said, I just think that whoever's running Discovery gives less of a shit about Star Trek canon.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but this new season definitely plays in with something that's one of my favorite bits in Next Generation. Which, like, if you guys ever get to watch it, I'd be curious to hear what you think about the plot line for this last season.
I mean, I'll get around to it sometime. There's just one thing about the in the future stuff they have that rubs me the wrong way.
What's that?
The wireless ships.
Oh yeah, the disconnected nacelles.
That makes no goddamn sense, like, at all.
It looks cool, like, because when they go into like super fast mode, the nacelles like move up and.
It looks cool, but it's just dumb. It's dumb as shit.
Well, it's futuristic. It's futuristic. They had to find a way to make it look
Wi-Fi nacelles. Yes, I mean, I think they could have done so many other different things.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It just for someone that likes engineering and likes fictionally thinking about how engineering works, it just drives me up the wall because it's like, it makes no sense. Like, if they don't have to be physically attached to a ship, then they don't have to be there because, then what's the point? They don't do anything. I mean, they have to have their own internalized source of power because you're not transmitting power, through the nothingness. Well, and if you are, then you don't ever have to even have a reactor on your ship. You can just wirelessly send power everywhere.
Well, it's the same sort of like shortcut to making shit futuristic, kind of like the projection.
But
there's no way that screen projection would work like that.
What do you mean?
Like when they have the projections come off the badges and it's like floating in front of their face, like you can't do that. Like, I mean, we can't now. I don't see how you can make that work.
That doesn't seem like so beyond the pale. But see, Star Trek is one of those shows that has got kind of been fairly well rooted. Like its future technology was somewhat researched. Like, they didn't just, like, start pulling shit out of their ass. It wasn't, Star Wars where, it's just space wizards and, they don't really care about the science. They have science consultants, and at least historically they have. And they, the people that wrote it and came up with all this stuff, like to think about, how this stuff would actually work. And so, and a lot of the stuff that they've done has, I wouldn't say it'd been proven to work, but people have found ways that it could in fact work.
Well, I'd be curious to see how we can figure out how to do that, like, projection screen. But that's the same thing with, like, an Iron Man and shit like that.
Yeah, holography like that's been, has been a sci-fi trope for a while, and people have been trying to. It's just, it is one of the more difficult things that people have not been able to figure out a way for.
Well, how do you feel about the personal teleporter badges? Because I like those. I think those are fun. But it's funny because, like, there will be scenes where they'll go from the captain's ready room to the bridge by teleporting instead of going through a door. But I'm like, that would make sense if you could just fucking teleport everywhere.
I mean, if the energy's free and you're not worried about the, weird teleporting clone paradox.
They should all just, by the end of the season, they should just all be immensely overweight.
I was going to say, oh, no, because they have the Star Trek nutrition, like we were talking about last night, in that, they can eat the most horrible, what normally would be horrible for you foods, but because it's created, it could taste like ice cream, but be as healthy as broccoli.
Yeah, the fucking replicators, man.
So imagine being able to eat like 0 calories, 0 sugar, whatever, and, you never gain weight. So they would be atrophy. They'd have no muscles because they're just like, they're sitting in their quarters and like, I gotta take a crap. And they push their comm badge and now they're sitting on the toilet.
Well, there is a lot of pacing on the ship and going down hallways. It always amuses me. It's like, oh, time to go to the bridge from the ready room. Click.
So I don't remember. So is it like the teleporter's like actually in the badge? They're not like using a ship teleporter?
So I don't know how the technology works per se, but like even if you're on the surface of a planet, like that, it's like, I guess, a two-way activation that allows you to like teleport yourself anywhere onto the ship. There's no like there's no dedicated teleporter pad.
Well, so I could see that being just, it's like, I could see it being something like having your home computer, like in the early 2000s versus having your cell phone. Well, not necessarily like that. No, that's a wrong analogy. But I can see like there being like a central, there's still a teleporter, a transporter, big iron in the ship somewhere, but it has so much like transporter bandwidth that they don't regulate that anymore. They're not like, you're not having to have someone control it and, basically have the captain have to say, yes, you can use the transporter.
Yeah.
It's just a convenience thing. And so, because they can now transport like 400 people at a time, people can just use it whenever.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm getting at here is like with, I know that, I think we're all kind of critical of Discovery at times, but like, I still enjoy it. Like, I enjoy all Trek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think this last season it's been fun. It's a little bit more like an adventure serial. It definitely was not meant to be their final season. I'm kind of curious how they're going to wrap it up.
I don't know, because when I watched the second to last season, I thought, I was like, this seems like they're just kind of winding down.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to spoil what's going on in this season.
Don't, but I can see how they bring about a new plot line, and then you have to truncate it and try to solve it in the end of this.
Well, and the other thing is, they said they had to come back and film stuff once they got the cancellation. So like, they had already filmed most of this season, and then like, okay, well, we got to come up with a denouement to it. So I'm curious. Like, Discovery is always going to be kind of like this dark horse amongst Trek, especially when you have it compared to, say, Strange New Worlds, which just kind of like flew on all cylinders, like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But, part of the reason that even was a success was because Discovery kind of reinvigorated Trek, and it also brought in Anson Mount as Pike, and, it's a complicated legacy.
Yeah,
I appreciate what it's done, but I don't appreciate what it is.
I think you could start from season 2 and not miss anything, and it'll be a much better experience.
Yeah, honestly, I would even start with this final season just so you can kind of get this interesting Next Generation tie-in. I would say you could probably just jump in, because it again, like, they reference things that have happened in the past, but you don't necessarily need to know them, because they kind of do that thing where they give you enough in the dialogue to establish certain things.
Yeah.
So I would try this, because this season definitely feels like it's just an adventure serial where they're going from like stop to stop, because it's basically a scavenger hunt. That's what this season is. And it takes you to some interesting places and everything like that.
I will say I feel like the intergalactic scavenger hunt is one of my least favorite story ideas.
Well, I mean, then you probably will hate this then. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I'll check out season 2 at some point, I guess, and see how it is.
Yeah. I don't know, just, I don't know, I'm enjoying it. Like, I didn't watch it for a couple of weeks because I let some episodes bank up, but then I watched, like, 3 of them in one night, and it got me to sit down and watch 3 of them in one night, so, like, that's a mark of quality, I suppose.
Yeah.
But sure. The other thing beyond Star Trek, I've been reading comics, and I've been trying the new Ultimate Marvel books. So what do you guys remember about Marvel?
They brought it back?
Yes. So what do you remember? Because there's a lot that's happened.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I know I read Ultimate Spider-Man for a huge chunk of the run.
Yeah, the Brian Bendis.
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. And
then you probably read some Ultimate X-Men and everything like that?
A little bit, and I became aware of what they were doing with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, Ultimate Marvel was very kind of like
edgelord,
hit or miss. Yeah, it was definitely edgy. Spider-Man always turned out really good for my money. X-Men could be hit or miss. The Ultimates was really the kind of one that where it like huge swings. Some of it worked, a lot if it didn't. And then, of course, did you ever hear about the Ultimate Fantastic Four?
I know it was a thing. What happened?
So, basically, in the Ultimate Universe, Reed Richards becomes a villain called the Maker.
Ah.
Yeah, so Reed kind of goes crazy. You know how you always have, like, that Council of Reeds thing? So this Reed, he gets rejected by Susan, and he kind of goes... incel edgelord super genius. He gets a really sick ass helmet, and he's like trying to like connect to other universes and everything like that. Long story short, he draws the attention of Galactus from 616.
Oh.
And Galactus comes to the Ultimate Universe, which I think was like 1610, to consume it. Well, that led to a whole crossover between 616 and the Ultimate Universe, which resulted in Miles Morales joining mainline Marvel and everything like that. So, and I think the story was called Ultimatum or something like that. Like, Peter had already been dead at this point.
I knew about that.
And so basically, like, the universe gets destroyed or put into, like, a pocket thing, and that's why they got rid of the Ultimate Universe. Well, this new series... is a rebirth of that, but Reed, the Maker, has kind of rewritten the code of the universe to where superheroes just aren't appearing. So it's changed the continuity for a lot of stuff. So, for example, Spider-Man never got bit. Peter Parker never got bit.
So he's alive.
So he's alive in this scenario because the universe gets remade, but Peter is now in his... mid to late 30s with 2 children married to Mary Jane.
Okay.
And he works with his Uncle Ben. His Uncle Ben actually never got killed. His Aunt May died. But but his Uncle Ben works at the Daily Bugle with
J. Jonah?
J. Jonah, yeah. So, but then J. Jonah and Ben leave the Bugle because the Kingpin is funding the Bugle and they want to start their own independent newspaper thing. So Peter, basically what happens is there's some sort of event. I haven't pieced it together quite yet, but there was some sort of terrorist attack that is affiliated with Tony Stark. And I'm not sure how it plays out, but I do know that Tony sends Peter a Picotech suit and a serum that gives Peter his spider powers. So now it's like a dad Peter Parker who is now learning how to be Spider-Man, and he encounters a new Green Goblin who's Harry, who's doing the good guy thing.
Oh, kind of. You know what that reminds me of is Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah.
When he went to the other universe, the other version of Earth, and there was, Yeah, so
it's interesting to have, like, Peter as a family man, working with Harry in, like, this alternate universe where things are different. But that's one of the titles they're doing. The other titles that I'm looking at, there's Ultimate Black Panther.
Interesting.
Which, it's Wakanda, and you have Black Panther. He's married to Okoye. And then this is, like, Black Panther recently ascended the throne because T'Chaka died. But you have Killmonger and Storm working to fight against the forces of Ra and Khonshu, who have taken over parts of Africa. And so Ra and Khonshu have avatars on Earth called Moon Knights.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that's going on with, and because it's an interconnected universe, you get little bits of the story across these. But then there's also this new Ultimate X-Men, which is so much more different. But I'm seeing where they're going with it because this takes place in Japan, and It stars Japanese middle school girls.
What?
Yes. So so they're kind of linking mutant powers to yokai and Japanese spirits.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you have I'm trying to remember the mutant. I think Armor, was the mutant. So this kid, this girl has the abilities of this mutant to create kind of like this armored projection in the form of like a samurai warrior that protects her. There is a girl who can control the winds who is dressed kind of like 90s Storm, white hair, lightning bolts. But then also she, in one of the flashback issues, she was reading up on things going on in Africa and, a news article about Storm. And then I think the villain in this X-Men arc is the Shadow King. I'm not quite sure yet. But it's an interesting approach. I appreciate the novelty of it all. Because it's doing something different.
Very manga.
Yes, it's Peach Mokomo, I think, is the artist.
Oh, I know them. I don't know them,
yeah.
But I've been following them on Insta for years.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. Like it's fun. The issues are so short though. Modern comics, at least from Marvel right now, you got 20 pages and that's it. It's wild to me. These things are flying by, and it's kind of annoying because it's no, I really want to see how the story is going, but you're only giving me 20 pages at a time.
Yeah.
But I definitely recommend at least trying this new Spider-Man run to see if you're into it, because I think it's kind of setting the standard for here's what this alternate Ultimate Universe is, because somehow Reed has managed to change the rules so the villains, there's a council of villains that seems to be running everything and has prevented superheroes, but inevitably the superheroes are starting to return. So
right, so it's like an inevitability kind of thing.
Yes, much like Thanos, it's inevitable.
Nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way.
But I'll tell you what, Peter Parker as a dad You know, those vibes are a lot of fun. Like,
Who's
I wish
writing that one?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. Let me look it up. But you know, that's
Cool.
why I
I'll
liked
find
Peter
out.
Parker. That's why I liked Peter Parker so much in the Spider-Verse movies. When you know, because
Oh yeah, Dad Parker.
we never really get to see older Peter and have it stick. It's always just like it's an Elseworlds or it's a special.
Or that we got to make a deal with the devil and get rid of him.
Okay, yeah. So Jonathan Hickman is the writer on this
okay.
one.
I'm familiar with Hickman vaguely.
Yeah. But yeah, no. If you get a chance, definitely read it because I think there's a lot going for it, and like again, just like seeing an older Peter with kids having his like relationship with Mary Jane move forward, and also just like not having Uncle Ben dead.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting little twist on all of this.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I would definitely give those a try. I've been enjoying them so far.
Okay.
I'm just trying to pick up more comics when I can because I kind of fell out of reading stuff,
Yeah.
and I just want to get back into it. You know.
Yeah, all I've really been reading is the new Energon Universe stuff, and that's been really good. So,
It's on my list of stuff to read for sure.
oh yeah, you really got to check out. Like the Cobra Commander series has been fantastic.
What I'm thinking about doing actually is going through rereading all of my Hellboy volumes and then like really sitting down and just trying to get through well, not get through because that makes it sound like a chore. Read through like the entirety of the BPRD stuff.
Right.
Yeah, call it research for something, but yeah, it's one of those. I've always been fascinated by Hellboy and the BPRD, and I think it's time to be able to sit down and just enjoy that.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, and that's what I got.
That's David's stuff. Well, I guess it's my turn. I have one big thing I've watched a lot of. But other than that, let me try to get the smaller things out of the way first. I kind of fell off playing Helldivers. Just not for any fault with the game itself. It's just I'm like that. I'll play something for a lot. And really what it was is I watched the Fallout show. So I wanted to play Fallout, so I started playing Fallout 4 and played that for a good while. Now, and I have not gone back to Fallout 4 just because I started watching a new anime. New to me anime. Is there anything else I've done in the meantime? Haven't watched any. Well, Kevin and I watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh man.
It was all right. It was not a great movie, but it wasn't a terrible movie.
It was one of the movies of all time.
Like I had fun with it.
It was a movie. My biggest problem, it wasn't as big. Kevin had problems with the member berries. I felt they weren't as egregious as Afterlife, but they were still there and still were. The most egregious one was the number of times they said when the light's green, the trap is clean.
Yeah.
They only needed that once in that movie.
I don't know. I think my biggest issue with it is that they keep digging up the old Ghostbusters. Like the whole point of Afterlife is to like move on to the next generation.
I don't know. It's kind of torch passing, and you have Zedmore there because he's in charge of
Funding it.
funding
Like
it.
that
everything.
works. I think having Ray also works because of his occult bookstore and everything like
There's
that.
no reason Peter should be involved. In
Yeah.
If you're going to get the other two, and he's willing to do it, I think his role in there was fine. It was small enough that it didn't. I liked the pen throwing bit. That was genuinely funny.
I was going to say, I feel like that scene was just Bill Murray getting pissed off at being in the movie and started throwing pins. And they kept it.
Here's the thing, like, if they do a third one, which I'm sure they probably will do, I kind of hope they lean more on the family as the Ghostbusters and not dig too deep into, because that kid, the girl, I don't know her name, but she's great. Like, she's my favorite.
No, she's good.
What I think
in the movie.
felt like she was wasted in this movie.
Yeah, my problem was they did too much in the movie. I think the whole like research thing angle, like all those people, those characters, could have been like not there as much. And so Kevin and I both like the big bad. I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah, the big ice guy.
Yeah,
was
tall, dark, and
really
horny.
cool looking.
Yeah.
Was it?
Tall, dark, and horny. I think that's what Peter calls him.
Yep.
Well, he's a very real Ghostbusters character design.
But his plan made no sense. Like his plan hinged on somehow getting the girl to leave her body so he could force her to chant.
Right.
It didn't
that
make
was
a lot of sense.
how he could know he could do all that. Like, how could he know that sending Melody to talk to her and guilting her into, wanting to be a ghost would like make her like do something? Like, how did he know that was possible?
It just felt like a very average episode of the real Ghostbusters.
It was a very forced plot.
Also, I felt like if you're gonna have the cute ghost girl and you're gonna hint at like some vague attraction, just go for the lesbian ghost romance. Just do it, cowards.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't do that because of the way it ended. They wanted to, have her piss off.
Much more, poignant.
Well, I meant the betrayal.
Oh yeah, no, would have made it much more poignant.
How did you guys feel about Camille's character?
Loved him.
He was
great.
one of the best parts
I
of the
hope they
movie.
keep him around.
They could have got rid of Podcast. I mean,
he was barely there.
Yeah, and I think the stuff when he was there was too much.
Yeah,
him hanging out with Ray is a smart move. I think that, like, he doesn't need to be like frontline Ghostbuster. I think just him kind of occupying the Ray research role, because I like how they were setting up kind of Ghostbusters as a larger.
Yeah.
It's no longer a fly-by-night operation. You got like a research
makes sense,
wing.
But they could have just made those other people kind of like non-characters. They didn't need to be like Q level. There, but also the whole like mad family dynamic kind of sucked. Like being mad at her and
sucked the joy out of
ostracizing her.
Well, it's like they set it up, and like if the movie had been more about one goddamn thing,
and the mom got wasted. Like, they wasted the mom. Carrie Coon's a fantastic actress, and they didn't give her much to do.
Yeah. Instead of having, and I even like Paul Rudd, and his main thing was quoting the Ghostbusters lyrics.
And he also had the it wasn't a complete arc, but the arc about like becoming the new dad sort of thing. Like, I wish they would have leaned into that a little bit more to make it a little more satisfying.
They could have had more of that. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. If they had cut like 2 subplots, it would have been a much better film.
But yeah, I'm down for a third one.
I'd give them another try. I mean, like I said, I didn't hate it. I mean, I'll diss on it and point out its flaws.
It's not as good as Afterlife. Not Afterlife.
Not.
Afterlife was the first one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first new one. And the other egregious part about like all the what do you call it? The nostalgia bombs. Mm-hmm. Was that they didn't need it because this time they had it built in because they had like the music, like the dopey Ghostbusters music. Yeah, and all that. And it was just in the firehouse, and they had basically it was. I guess you could say in Afterlife they needed those because it was so far removed from the Ghostbusters like nexus that helped tie it in. But here, because it's so steeped in it that you don't need all those, nostalgia bombs.
Because
what I think, got it built into the movie.
I think instead of a movie, I feel like this new iteration of Ghostbusters would work better as a series. Yeah, a show.
Yep.
A show or like a...
You could do a spin-off show about a franchise.
Honestly, I could see that, but honestly, like, just take these existing characters and just do a season of them with, like, maybe, like, 2 or 3 cases stretched over, 8 to 10 episodes.
Hey, I'm gonna say 3 words: Ghostbusters New Orleans.
Which would be great.
That's another problem with this movie. They didn't have enough ghost busting.
They
Yeah,
had,
and
like,
busting
one
makes me
ghost
feel
bust.
good, so.
God, shut up.
They busted that one long fish ghost, and then they went right into, all these other problems that weren't busting ghosts.
Yeah, and then just kind of throwing, speaking of the fan service, just kind of like throwing Slimer in there. Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
I know that he's the
really have a
mascot, but
problem with
this
that,
isn't this isn't the real Ghostbusters. There's no reason for him to be there.
Again, if the subplot with the boy and Slimer had actually been more, if there had been more of that,
If it had connected into the larger conflict, then that would have been great too.
I mean, it did a little bit when he
Yeah.
ate the possessor ghost, but like, I agree. There should have been. I don't know.
I don't think that had to tie in because it was just loosely affiliated anyway. It was just him, handling his own shit.
Well, I'm just gonna say that they need to have Frank Welker voicing him next time.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's get full on real Ghostbusters.
Look! Throw Slimer in a hot dog cart again.
And you know what? Throw in the new Ghostbusters from that other cartoon. The one with the wheelchair guy and the goth chick. And
see, I remember that, and I was like, why did the Burger King Kids Club join the Ghostbusters?
it was a good show, though. That's
I never saw it.
It was all right. It was a continuation of Real Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And,
I know
they
about
even
it.
had the original show up at the end of the series.
Just never saw it. I don't know.
I saw a little.
I don't know why I never saw it. Just
because it didn't come on that often.
I don't think it ever reran or anything. After its first run, it just disappeared.
Did you guys ever read the comics from IDW?
Nope.
They're pretty good. Like, if you want a nice continuation of Ghostbusters, check out those comics. They even crossed over with the Ninja Turtles at one point.
I've heard. They also did a Transformers crossover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one IDW crossover where all the titles involved the Cthulhu mythos. So you had Transformers, you had Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and tentacle things. Yeah.
So anyway, now that we've gotten over the Ghostbusters, the other thing I've been really doing this last couple of weeks, I've been watching this anime called Banished from the Hero's Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. Have you heard or seen that one, David?
I have not, but it reminds me, last night I was just reading isekai anime titles to Holly, just when we were laughing at just the ridiculousness of them.
Well, thankfully this isn't isekai. It's just all in universe. It's just the universe has very fantasy game tropes in it, but it's not, an isekai.
Okay.
But the main gist of it is the protagonist of this show was in the party of the big savior hero and is the brother of the big savior hero and gets convinced by a nefarious, unscrupulous member of the party that he's not needed anymore and he should just quit. So he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm out. And he goes and lives in the countryside. Too much, shenanigans. But so watching the show, I'm going, so a lot of times in anime, there's a romance, quote unquote romance, and nothing, it's just all, gags and stuff. And then, maybe at the end there's a kiss on the cheek or something, if you get lucky. Well, in this one, his party member that, they had been slightly flirtatious with, ends up running into him in this backwards countryside. She's like, all right, I'm living here now. And moves in with him. And, by the end of the first season, they're basically engaged. And the second season, which I've been going through, is just continuing that. It has payoff. It implies that they sleep together, in the biblical sense.
Well, like, I
knock
had that
boots.
issue with farming life in another world because, like, by like the 7th episode, the vampire is pregnant. And it's like, well, when did that happen? Because you don't see the character get intimate with the
Yeah.
other character, and it's like, okay, so suddenly this is a half vampire child you're gonna have. When did
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah, no, it like in the first season, like less so in the second one. But in the first season, I was going like, wow, this is like paying off like a lot in ways that I'm used to anime not paying off. So, you know, it's an interesting show. It's not bad. It's not not the best, but it's, you know, decent.
Well, I mean, is it doing better than the time I was reincarnated as a slime? Because right now, like 5 of the episodes have just been meetings, like literally characters around a table in a room meeting and talking about the state of the setting, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad. I mean, the guy's like, he wants to be an alchemist and like an herbalist, and he's, you know, setting up his shop and stuff. But, you know, he says he wants to live the quiet life, but obviously, you know, that's not happening exactly because you wouldn't make really wouldn't be able to make a show about that. So his life is not that quiet.
Yeah.
But sure, he's not fighting the demon king or whatever. There's always a demon king.
Yeah. Is
I
this
know
one of those like nation building anime?
No, because it's in a town. Like there's already, it's basically you know, the Mississippi of this world. There's civilization there, but it's very sleepy, very, you know, rural. Although there is kind of a city, but no, they have one of the interesting facets they have. Like everybody has a blessing, is what they call it, and it's your divine calling. It's what makes you different from most everybody else, and it imbues you with, you know, certain attributes and powers. Like, you know, the brawler blessing will be good with their fists, or you know, weapon master blessing will be good with, you know, a certain type of weapon. You can think of it as
all the
classes.
video game logic.
Yeah, it's just a class system basically. Yeah, that's why I said it has very video game logic stuff going on. And, you know, his blessing, the main character's blessing, which he's called Red for most of the time, but his original name was Gideon. His blessing was to support the big hero, and it was called the Guide blessing. And he has stuff that is good for nurturing the hero in the beginning, but that's why he was convinced that, you know, he wasn't needed anymore. Because, like, look, she's grown up now. She's more powerful than you could ever, you know, be. So we don't need you anymore. But of course, you know, being his sister, she didn't feel that way. But in typical anime fashion, they didn't talk about it. He didn't go to her and say, "Hey, do you think I should be around?" No, he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna leave then. If I'm dragging everybody down, I'm gonna suffer myself and leave." So, but no, but the sister by the end of the first season finds him, so she's not gone he's not out of her life for very long.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's really what I've been doing instead of playing Fallout 4 is watching this. 'Cause like I said, I watched all of the first season. I did the first 5 episodes of season 2.
Okay.
I had an idea for an isekai. What if a guy died and woke up in a world where everybody else was someone that died and woke up in that world?
I kind of had a similar idea to that.
You could call it "I died and woke up in a world where everybody's special, therefore nobody's special."
I had this idea of like an isekai about a guy who works for an isekai management department who goes to like different isekai to make sure that, you know, things are going along normally for each person's reincarnated world. Just like, you know, it's like a welfare check.
The Isekai Department of Isekai Relations.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think I'm spent. Y'all good? Y'all need a cigarette?
No.
Yeah, no, I think I'm
good though.
All right, so I guess the next thing would be the game, if I actually have one, which I don't really have a game so much as I have a question that might require some thoughts. So it's going to relate to Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
And in Furiosa, we had a lot of really banger Wasteland names. Like looking through IMDb, Chris Hemsworth's...
Mr. Davidson.
Chris Hemsworth's name was actually Dr. Dementis. It lists on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they actually went
had Dr. Dementis. Of course, we know Emote and Joe. We had such other...
You can't forget Scrotus.
I was going to say, we have Piss Boy, which we talked about, Smeg, Chum Bucket, Sad Eyes and Hungry Eyes, Scrotus, Rictus Erectus, and I found out the name of the truck thing. It was the Bomby Knockers.
That was it, the Bomby Knockers.
So my question to you guys is, what would be your Wasteland name?
See, we have to come up with some sort of you take your street name plus.
No,
we should come up with something like that. Okay.
No, I know mine.
What would it be?
It'd be Mumby.
Mumby. I could have been thinking of my own, but I haven't been. I've been too engaged in conversation.
How about you, David? What would your Wasteland name be?
I guess it would depend on what kind of Wastelander you are.
What's a Mad Max Wasteland? Like things went to Mad Max, and there's just kind of a different version of what's going on there in Mad Max here. Like there's, some, settlement or, centers of things, building things, but there's mostly raiders. You're probably living as a raider out,
Which one of you is Sadface the Buttfuck Boy?
Well, the other thing is, a couple of the names are just titles. You got the History Man and you got the Organic Mechanic.
That guy was my favorite dude, the History Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's are you a Wasteland Raider, or are you a titled person?
I don't think that's a title. It's just what they call him because, they don't want to call him George.
Yeah. Nux, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with Sparky.
Sparky.
Yeah, I think Sparky is a good Wasteland name. He's the guy who inevitably gets killed. Like I would.
You're the one carrying around a car battery with jumper cables on your back, and you just attach them to people's nipple piercings.
Yes, that's exactly what I do.
That's your thing.
As long as it's not Chris Hemsworth getting them ripped off.
Yeah, get Spocky.
God, I can't believe he lost his nipples.
Why didn't he have his nipples attached to it?
I don't know.
That was just bizarre.
Again, smart character, dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
Sparkplug. That's it. That's the name. Sparkplug instead of Sparkplug.
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 Butt plug.
Butt plug. Butt plug.
Sparkplug.
Butt plug.
God, there's some internet archaeology for you.
That is like 1990s internet.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be Mumby the Buttfuck Boy.
Just call me Jack All.
Jack All?
Because I don't know Jack All, but I am a jack of all trades.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So Mumby, Sparkplug, and Jack All.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
We're and then all three of us get killed by Max.
Yep, pretty much.
No, because we wouldn't be the bad guys. We wouldn't be the baddies.
I'd be the one that falls off, lands on the tire, and then gets run over by the back tire.
I would probably fall into a pond of radioactive waste with my battery pack and just electrocute myself.
I hope that you would die like the guy from RoboCop when he got the toxic waste on him. Like they hit you and you just turn into a splash of liquid.
There we go.
Yeah, Mike, how do you die?
I probably blow myself up trying to make something. Because I'm not very good at, building explosives. I do it pretty well a couple of times, and then I, think, okay, I can build an RPG and end up, blowing myself trying to make the missile.
Now, see, I'm starting to think of my Wasteland Sona.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, like, okay, well, if I'm Sparkplug, I probably go around, like, making batteries and stuff to help power the cars. So that's my thing, is, like, I'm the power guy for some sort of raider gang where it's like, okay, get Sparkplug, we need juice. Something like that. See?
You in like the Warboy party, you'd like just have a battery backpack so you can go around jumping the cars.
You'd be attached to the
or they even give me like a little room and I like play with like chemicals to try to make like chemical batteries just so like we always have power.
Acid stains all over your hands.
Yeah. Like I'm already developing my Mad Max RPG character.
Like your face is kind of like a little melty from where you've got too many acid fumes.
See, yeah, exactly.
My entire persona would be based on that thing Patton Oswalt talked about, where he said, well, if you bring us gas, you can butt fuck the sad boy. That is me.
Kevin, you would be a version of the memory man or whatever.
The history man.
The
memory man. I literally would have approximate knowledge of many things.
No, that's me. You knew Dykstra, so you would just tell you. That's what you would do. You would entertain them. You'd basically be like a shitty Glee man, in that you would tell them stories of old sitcoms and movies. Yes.
Gather round and let me tell you the story of the Bundy.
The Balky Bartakamos.
There once was a man named Charles.
I think you would do well in that role, Kevin.
Wait, actually, wait, back up. Let me tell you, these cousins, they were in fact perfect strangers.
Because I think you spin a good yarn, so I think you would do well. You wouldn't even have to get it right. Since you have all these elements, you could just...
Mumby the storyteller.
You could just mix and match them, and, it'd be a new story every time.
All right, Mumby the storyteller then.
Meanwhile, I'm scarred with battery acid.
Yep.
Did you hear me, Kevin?
What?
Mumby the story gimp.
Wow. Wow. I was calling myself the butt fuck boy, so I'll take that as an upgrade.
How do you get him to shut up? I'll give you a hint.
God dang it.
Oh, and one little detail I just remembered I thought was fun was the little gas engine that powered Furiosa's arm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's neat.
I never noticed. I don't think they really did anything with that in the Mad Max and Fury Road.
Yeah, that arm was pretty badass though.
Yeah, no, I mean it stretches credulity, whatever that term is, but. I'll give it a pass because it's, magical apocalypse times. Come on, the motorcycles ran for 7 days and 7 nights without any more gas. But, so we've got our apocalypse Wastelander name, so I guess I need a positive affirmation. And dadgummit, I don't know. I mean, I'm bad with these. Because there always just end up being some variation of "don't be a dick."
I don't know. You can always go with like what I did that time, where it's like, I'm glad you're alive.
Be like Piss Boy. Be useful until you're not.
Scream witness me when you die.
Yeah. Just don't drink your piss. That's nasty.
Yep, that's gross.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. This has been the Distraction Hole. Don't drink your piss. Life lessons to live by.
Don't be Bear Grylls.
Yeah, that dude's done real damage to the people that shouldn't drink piss but are drinking it anyway. Are we out?
We're goodbye, everybody. Listen to Supernat.
Yeah. What do you have? Do you have anything you got to say?
Listen to Supernatural Selection. David?
I got nothing. Listen to Supernatural Selection.
Okay.
All right, we're done.
Goodbye.
Damn it. I didn't mean to be this fucking bad at the end.